You aren't just feeling your feelings, but baby, you're staying in your feelings. You're sitting in that. Baby, it happened 5 years ago. Let's move on. Let's heal and let's move on. Don't let a situation disrupt your life. So I posted an Instagram poll about 2 weeks ago asking you guys to send me some vulnerable up in your business, a little bit kind of questions, so that we could truly heal together and so that you could gain clarity and confidence in your healing journey. So that is what we're doing today. So I'm so excited to be answering your questions, and I hope that my advice and my thought process and what I've been through can help you with the questions that you would have asked me. Baby, we're on the road to healing, from one healed girl to another. Let's go. Y'all, these questions are really good, actually really good questions. Before I get into the video, I just want to thank each and every girl that sent a question to me. I don't take your vulnerability lightly at all, and I want to help you to heal and to be the best version of you that you could be. So the first question I received was, how do I forget about my past hurt that's still so present? The past is a tough one, because once you get that residue on you from your past, you really have to be intentional about doing the work to get past that. So the way the brain is set up, baby, you're not going to forget it, but what you are going to do is, number one, forgive. You are going to forgive. That is the first step to letting go of anything. If you see somebody saying that they healed from something, but they literally can't stop talking about it, you have not forgiven. Whoever hurt you, whatever hurt you, you have not forgiven them if you constantly still are bringing it up. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is to forgive. And how do you do that? You need to ask God to help you to forgive that person. Because baby, I could tell you one thing about me. This flesh in this body, forgive somebody that hurt me? No. Immediately no. Like how I've been able to forgive persons that hurt me in the past, and it may sound cliche and it might sound corny, but when you come into contact and into relationship with God's love, you feel compelled to love that person from afar. I forgive you. You could stay over there, but I still forgive you. But you also have to forgive yourself for allowing whatever situation that was to occur. Forgive yourself because you didn't know. Forgive yourself because you wasn't as knowledgeable and as wise as you were now. You need to forgive your own self before you could even forgive that person who hurt you. I think honestly, the only way that you're able to forgive somebody wholeheartedly is from God. Because if you can do it without him, baby, I want to know how. How? Because I would be giving bombastic side eyes. So baby, forgive and let it go. Next question. So this next question is kind of similar, and it says, how do I overcome and get over my past? It's been so long since it happened, but it still hurts. Overcoming your past is so many things, so many levels. So there can never just be one answer. So I'm gonna answer this one too. So the part where it says, it's been so long since it happened, but it still hurts. The first thing I would ask you, if you are in a relationship and it's a relationship that hurts you, because usually that's where a lot of trauma and a lot of hurt comes from the past, in relationship with people, whether that be like romantic relationships or friendships. I realize with relationships and friendships, you tend to carry soul ties. Do you feel like you have a soul tie? Do you feel like your soul is tied to that person, your mind, your will, and your emotions, because you said it's been so long since it happened, but you're still hurting? So the advice that I would give you is, number one, time heals. I think that we want to kind of rush the healing process, not really go through it, but we want to rush it. If you see that person, or if something comes up that reminds you of the situation, 9 times out of 10 it's still gonna sting a little bit. And I'm just being completely honest with you. 9 times out of 10, no matter how much you laugh, no matter how much you kiki it off, 9 times out of 10, 9.5, 9.8 it's gonna sting. Still, we are human and we still carry feelings, right? Clearly that situation was really close to you and it really affected you because you are hurting. You don't get hurt by things you're not attached to. So the thing that I would tell you, and the thing that helped me, was you have to detach. You have to create distance from that situation, because a lot of the times we want to heal being up close to the things that hurt us. Sometimes we need distance. Sometimes we need to block. Sometimes we need to create literal physical distance from us and that situation, in order for us to heal and in order for us to overcome the past, if you are still involved, if you are still talking, if you're still communicating, if you're still in close proximity with the things that have hurt you, it's gonna feel like it's never gonna stop hurting. So I would definitely say to create physical distance from the situation, from the person, from people that remind you of the person. Y'all, key things to overcome. You need to detach. You need to remove yourself from whatever has been going on. Another thing that I would say, and then I'll move on to the next question, I encourage everybody, because it's what I did. You have to feel your feelings. Like, your feelings are valid. Your feelings are necessary. To feel your feelings is necessary in any healing process, because a lot of us be like, oh no, we good. Hide it under the rug. Maybe that's why you're still hurting up to this day and it's been 5 years. Because you haven't truly dealt with how that situation truly made you feel. And one of the things that helped me was writing down my thoughts, writing down my feelings, letting it be known, this is how this made me feel. This is how what this person did to me made me feel. Like, it made me angry, it made me upset, it made me depressed, it made me insecure, it made me not want to be able to trust anybody anymore. This is how I feel. This is how this made me feel. But you can't sit in your feelings. So you could feel your feelings, but you can't sit in your feelings forever and ever. And that may be a reason why it feels so current, because you aren't just feeling your feelings, but baby, you're staying in your feelings. You're sitting in that. You're like, oh my goodness, this person did that. Like, you always bringing it up. Like, you always saying something. Like, bro, you're not going to be able to let it go and overcome if you keep on doing that. If you're sitting in your feelings about the same thing, baby, it happened 5 years ago. Let's move on. Let's heal. And let's move on smartly. Don't let a situation disrupt your life. Don't let it have you on pause. We need to be growing. We need to be healing. You shouldn't be feeling the same level of hurt. Like I said, it's still gonna sting, but it shouldn't feel like you just been through it. That is how you know that you're truly healing and you're truly on the road to healing. So I would say to feel your feelings, like get it out. Get out the crying. Get out how you feel. Tell God all of that. Get it out of your system so that you can move on and so that you can overcome it, because I believe that you can. And all of these things that I'm telling you guys is things that I literally had to do to get me to where I am, because baby, your girl was hurt real bad. I had to get on my knees crying out how hurt I was. So I could definitely relate, and I definitely know what it looks like to be hurt, but what it also looks like to overcome and to be on a road of healing. So I hope that that one helps you. Oh girl, let's do the work. So this question says, how do I heal properly when I'm the one always being hurt? No matter if I try to be a person, I guess, a good person. The first thing I would tell you, if you're the one always being hurt, is I'm gonna need you to first reevaluate yourself, reevaluate your values, reevaluate your morals. When you see a pattern happening, there has to be a root somewhere. And the only way for you to find out the root to why it is you always are the one ending up hurt is you need to really reevaluate yourself, reevaluate your personality, reevaluate your characteristics, reevaluate the way that you communicate, the way that you carry yourself. All of these things are signs as to why you allow people to always hurt you, because who you are, honestly, is what you're going to attract. I know that from experience. Who you are, what you stand for, is what you're going to attract. So I'm just gonna let that sit there, and I'm just gonna let that simmer for a moment, because we be out here wondering, like, why am I always the one getting hurt? Why does this keep on happening to me? There's something in you that needs to change. It's something in you that you need to deal with, so that you can even recognize people's true intentions, so that you can tell when people really don't respect you, so that you can tell when people just want to use you. It starts with you. That question, why you always keep on getting hurt, you need to do some self-reflection. You need to change some things within yourself. You need to have some standards, some morals, some values, some boundaries, so that you will be able to be aware of what's happening. And it says, no matter if I try to be a good person. The thing is, being a good person, it honestly does leave a lot of room for you to get hurt, but that's where your boundaries come in. Because baby, I could be a good person to you, but what you're not gonna do is play me right in front of my face. What you're not gonna do is treat me any kind of way. What you're not gonna do is talk to me any kind of way. What you're not gonna do is invalidate my feelings. Like, all of these things are signs needs before you even get hurt. So you need to just be self-aware. You need to do self-reflection. You need to change some things within yourself so that you can set boundaries and try to avoid getting hurt. Honestly, hurt, let's just put this out there, hurt is inevitable. As soon as you let persons in your space, you're also allowing hurt to come into your space, potentially, because we're human, we're people, and sometimes because we're imperfect, we hurt people. You need to do the work that you need to do so that you're aware of what's going on and you're not just like up in there always blaming it on, oh my goodness, I always get hurt, but I'm a good person. I hope that answers that question. So this next question, and I'm gonna answer this one really quickly. It says, I pray and ask God for healing and help, but it feels like my prayers are falling on deaf ears. So the first thing I'm gonna tell you is what scripture says, because it doesn't matter what I say. What matters is what God says. And it says that God is near to the brokenhearted and he saves those that are crushed in spirit. He saves those that are hurting. He is close to those that are hurting. That is who he is and that is what he does. So if you're praying and you feel like your prayers are falling on deaf ears, I wanted to read that scripture to you because I wanted to reassure you that it's not falling on deaf ears, and you crying out to God and you praying to him is exactly where he wants you to be, so that he can comfort you, so that he can restore you, so that he can help you to heal. He says that he's going to save you, and that is a promise. That is who he is. I need you to not focus on the situation. You may be praying like, God, release the hurt from me. God, help to restore the situation. And sometimes God is saying no. Sometimes he's saying, I'm not gonna do it because I don't want you to be in a circle and experience that again. Sometimes God's silence is the loudest thing that you could experience when you feel like he's not moving. It's when he wants you to be still. It's when he wants you to focus in on him and not the situation, not what you're praying about, but focus in on him. And just because you're crying out to God, asking him to heal the hurt, it's not gonna happen overnight. Your actions equal consequences. God is gonna comfort you, yes, but you are also going to have to grow through the growing pains of healing from that situation so that you can learn, because he is a good father, and good fathers teach you good lessons. So that is what I'm gonna leave with you for that question. This next question says, how to set strong boundaries when you keep going back to something that hurts you. Girl, boundaries first and foremost is my favorite word. Boundaries are literally, they're up there. When you have boundaries, you have wisdom, because if you just allow everything and anything to just walk all over you, you're gonna be hurt all the time. So the first thing I'm going to assume why you keep on going back to something that hurts you is because you haven't really truly created a physical boundary first. So just as I said before, you need to create first and foremost physical distance. You need to make sure that you and that situation are far apart. We need physical distance for at least 6 months. Some boundaries that I had to put in place to keep me from going back to my past is the block button. Yeah, on everything. Because once you leave room for connection, baby, it's it. If you feel like you're strong enough to still have that person on your Instagram, to still have that person's number, no, we need to leave no room to be backtracking, and we need to leave all the room to be going forward. The brain works in a way where if you keep on seeing something that hurts you, it'll trigger something in you, and it's not going to be something healthy. It's going to be something toxic, because most of our reflexes or most of our reactions are toxic reactions. We see the person that hurt us, we see the situation that hurt us, and we're like, oh, I missed that. It's toxic. Boundaries, like big boundaries, especially when you feel like you are tied up with that person. Big boundaries, like not the little boundaries. You need big boundaries, like boundaries with communication. Like I said, boundaries with not being able to see anything from that person. That is what you need. Trust me. Even boundaries with persons around you, still bringing up the situation, still bringing up that person. Either you're not going to be like in that environment or around those persons for them to bring that up if they always do, or you're going to tell them, babes, let's not talk about it. Let's just wrap it up. Let's not talk about it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Thank you. Because it's going to provoke something in you to want to unblock that number. And you know what I mean? I think that those boundaries are real strong, because sometimes we like to like leave little doors and little cracks open, baby. That little crack will be bust wide open as soon as you feel some type of way. I want you to pay attention to how you keep on going back to what hurts you. Like, how is the communication line open? How does the little crack begin to, be open again? I need you to pay attention to that. However that occurs, shut it down, babes. That is the advice that I would give you, and I hope that helps a lot. And it may be hard to do, like give your phone to somebody else if you can do it, but it needs to be done. So I have 3 more questions that I'm gonna answer. So this one says, how do you forgive yourself for something that you regret doing that caused a deep scar? So the first thing I want to tell you is that you need to accept it, whatever the situation may be, whatever you allow to happen. First of all, I love that you said something that you regret doing which caused a deep scar, which means that you are already holding yourself accountable and you're not blaming it on anybody, but you're taking your own bulk of the responsibility. And I love that. You need to truly accept what happened, because what happened and you can't change it. So because you can't change it, you need to get your mind off of it. Whatever helps you to get your mind off of it, whether that's being creative, whether that's writing it down in a journal, whether that's like taking on new hobbies, new activities, whether that is going to therapy, whether that is talking to somebody whenever you feel those emotions come up again and you need to speak to somebody about it. Find that safe person to talk to and to talk out your feelings with, because trust me, that really helps. Because everything that we see or everything that happens in our lives is a root issue. When you accept it, you need to find the root cause of what happened so that thing doesn't reoccur again. And an amazing way for you to find that out is to speak and to talk about it. Honestly, the next thing that I'll encourage you to do is to talk about it more, whether that, like I said, is to a therapist or to somebody, one person. Don't go out here like talking to everybody. One person that you truly trust. The more that you talk about your situation, the more confidence you build, the more that you forgive yourself about what happened, the more that you don't feel guilty that you allowed something to happen. That is how you truly get over it. Like, baby, you need to talk about it. Speak about it with your chest. Say that you know what your part was in it, and baby, keep it moving. The next thing I'll tell you is that you have to learn from your mistakes, and it seems like you have learned, but you definitely now have to do the work to implement what it is that happened in that situation to your now self. Because once you do the work, and once you see yourself doing the work, and once you see that change, and once you see that you're actively on your road to healing from whatever that is, you will be like, wow, I appreciate that happening because it made me who I am right now. I appreciate that thing happening because it made me a better me, because I did the work. I learned from my mistakes. I am able to help other persons that may be going through the similar situation because I did the work myself. So that is my answer for you, girl. This next question says, how to forgive someone that you were in love with but they hurt you mentally and spiritually. So I think I answered this question before about the forgiveness aspect, but I would say, like I said, the first thing is your foundation. It was hard for me to forgive somebody that hurt me until I met God, until I saw them through the lens of God. I began to see them how God saw them. I began to see we're all flawed as human beings, that we all make mistakes, that we all have damage, that we all have issues that we need to deal with. I began to see that. I began to see that I'm not perfect as well, which is why it made me realize, like, I could forgive you because I know I'm not perfect as well. I could forgive you because I know that God forgave me for the mess that I did. So I'm gonna forgive you for the mess that you did, not because it was fun being hurt, but because I want to give you the same grace that God gave to me in my mess and that God gave to me in my mistake. So I feel like if you look at forgiveness like that and you put love in the forefront, it would definitely allow you to forgive that person. Also, like I said, soul ties are a serious thing. So if you have like any things that still constantly like tie you up to that person, baby, let it go, throw it away, cut it down, like all of these things in order for you to truly let go of that and to forgive that person. And now we are on the last question, and this one is for me. This last question, it says, what really helped with your healing process? I feel like all of the things that I spoke about in this video helped with my healing process, and the Heal Girl Summer Series, it sums up like the exact things that I did. So let's just do a little review of the Heal Girl Summer Series and what those were real quick. So if you haven't watched the Heal Girl Summer Series, baby, What are you doing? It was such a good series, and I just want my story and the way that I was able to receive healing to help you guys to be able to receive your healing as well. And the beautiful thing about her, the beautiful thing about your story is that it can help somebody, is that it's not in vain if you don't allow your hurt to be in vain. It can help somebody and you can overcome and you can get through. Let's start with the first thing, baby. I had to let go in order to grow. I had to let some things go. I had to let the old me go. I had to accept who I was. And baby, I had to realize that it wasn't good for me. I had to let that Angelique go in order for me to grow and to heal. The first part of Heal Girl Summer, I spoke about your foundation. What is your foundation? I would not be to where I am right now. My story would not be like this. I would probably still be in the same cycle if my foundation was not in God. Period. Point blank, period. That is what really helped me, like, to ignite the healing process. Me allowing the hurt to bring me down to my knees and say, God, I can't do it by myself. God, this is something that I can't do within my own strength. I need you to step in and I need you to help me to see me through this. I can't do it on my own. It hurts too much. The second thing I talked about was letting the past go. And I think all of the answers that I gave with letting the past go, because a lot of people struggle with that. So if you haven't watched that one, definitely go and watch it, because I talk in depth about how I was able to let the past go. But a part of my healing process was letting that go, baby. Not only letting the past me go, but letting the past situations, the past relationships, the past people go. The past can be holding you back. So we have to let the past go. And then honestly, once you do the inner work, once you sort out the past, you would officially be on your way to healing. So that is it for this video, y'all. Thank you guys for asking and being vulnerable with the questions. I really hope that this video helps you, and I can't wait to see you on the other side of your Heal Girl journey. Let me know if you have any questions or if you want any advice. My Instagram DMs are always open. Yeah, so let's talk about it. Tell your auntie and tell your uncle and tell your cousin that we're doing things over here, that we're doing things over here. So thank you guys for watching yet another video. This was a good one, and I hope that it helps you. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Bye.